Hey guys, I'm FilthyRobot. Welcome back to Dungeons and Dragons with Xilo, Ricky, Solitaire, and Galg. We're really looking forward to playing this. It's unfortunately been 2 weeks since we were last able to record. I am recovering a little bit from a cold, so my voice may sound a little bit odd, and I may break down into fits of coughing from time to time. Please try to ignore that. And don't let it detract from the game. A quick recap of what's going on. Our characters have just made it back to town after having fought the Displacer Beast, attempted to skin it and obtain its valuable hide, but we're not skilled enough to do so. And apparently our employer also wanted that hide without having said something, so we managed to piss off our employer as well. After some building tension, things seem to be smoothed over a little bit, and our employer has offered us another shot at getting something right for her. She has requested that we persuade, but do not coerce, a magic-wielding individual into coming in to see her, if I'm correct. And the party decided they would sleep on it and get back to her in the morning. And that, I think, is roughly where we're going to take up. We're going to take up either the night of, where we're making the decision, or the morning after, when we made the decision, or coming back to her. So, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy, and let's get started.
All right. Okay, so we'll say you guys just left the Miners' Exchange, heading to the Stone Hill Inn to take up residence for the night. And you guys get there. It's still not super late. It's mid-evening, about 9 o'clock-ish. And the inn's pretty busy. You're able to find some seats and get a couple of rooms as well. And you're free to discuss whatever you like at this point.
Well, where did we leave the corpse? Because she asked us to get rid of it, but we didn't decide.
Yeah, what did you do with that?
Well, I'm sort of asking the party, because Nalla is just carrying it. She doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
The question is where can we ditch it?
This is a 10-foot long, enormous cat with tentacles, too.
Yep. It's
with
all,
no
like,
skin.
stabbed and chopped up and...
Yeah, and it's
tenderized
skin, so it's gotta look fucking horrific.
yeah.
Why don't we dig a hole in the ground and just bury it?
I suggest hanging it from a tree, perhaps in the center of town.
How about right in front of the mayor's office?
Do you know where your children is? This was found in the woods just south of town. Would you like to hire some protection? I think we could swing this into a lucrative job offer. No?
Ay.
How about Nalla just, like, walks out of town somewhere and just dumps it somewhere in the woods?
If you want to do that, no, I'm fine with that. What's one?
Well, unless someone has
the woods.
Unless someone has a definitive, better solution. Sure.
Do you want some
I
company?
think that's the best one.
I could use a little bit of a walk to clear my head. A little bit annoyed with that last interaction.
Alright, then Nalla's gonna walk due west to some woods and drop the body off there.
Erifror and Eryn, can we catch up with you in a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Alright.
You know where to find us.
Wherever there's an open bottle of ale, right?
I'm gonna keep eye on our little friend.
All right, so you guys head out of town, heading west, and you get like an area that's not quite in the forest. It's just before the forest. Or are you looking for somewhere further in?
I think we do
Just a little bit.
fair little walk from town, though. We don't want to like dump it just on like the outskirts of like it. We'd like to get it in the forest, I think. You know, like outskirts of the forest, but not in the town anymore.
So like 10 minutes walk or something?
Yeah, maybe even a little bit.
5 minutes.
All right. So you walk there. It like 10 minutes still wouldn't be in the forest, but like if you were to walk about half an hour or so, you'd probably get into the forest.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not carrying that big bastard, so if Nalla's willing to do that, I'm willing to go for a walk.
It's no problem. No problem.
Okay.
All right. So you do that, and you walk for about half an hour. It's kind of on the very outskirts of the forest. It's not in the forest as such, but yeah. So what specifically do you do with the corpse in this place?
Just drop it somewhere and leave.
All right. Okay. So you drop the corpse, and then head back to town, and then about an hour has gone by before you guys are reunited at the inn.
So, we're accepting mission or no?
I think we got off on the wrong foot with her. Sounds like she might be a good person to know in this area if she has work for us regularly. Perhaps we should do it as kind of an apology. You know, she wasn't real clear with us that she wanted the hide of this animal. And the hide was valuable. I don't think we owed it to her, but nevertheless, maybe we could smooth over some hurt feelings by doing this.
Miscommunication made better. Yes, this sounds okay.
All right.
Anyone else? Eryn? Erifror?
Thinking about it, I don't trust her that much, but well, if we get money from this, I don't see that much problem with it.
If nothing else, it would.
Well,
go ahead.
well, the coin doesn't hurt. I mean, ale, but perhaps this time people who should write a contract or something.
Yes, a written contract would be pretty good. I think that would make a lot of sense. And if anything, at the very least, what we'll find from this is if this is a second attempt, if this goes strangely as well with all these unforeseen circumstances and additional hardships, we'll know this woman's out to screw us. Once coincidence, miscommunication, 2 in a row, probably deliberate. At least give us some sense of where we stand. Now, on to the task at hand. Anyone have any fucking idea how we're gonna peacefully coerce without coercing a mage?
We ask very nicely.
I don't tend to be the most kind-hearted and amiable people, mages. They tend to have a bit of an ego. You think this guy's just gonna follow us around because we've asked?
We ask him very nicely, and if he says no, we punch him in the face.
Yeah, if he's rational, he will go without trying to fight us.
Why?
Because there will be more of us, stronger.
Well, afterwards, maybe.
So we see him, we approach him, we say, hey, someone has paid us to ask you to come into town. If it was just nothing, she wouldn't be paying us. He'd just be in town. She'd have written him a letter or something. Clearly she's hiring mercenaries, hiring us for a reason. There's gonna be some hesitation or reluctance. I think we gotta be a little bit prepared to encounter that.
Well, I hope that Nalla's slap should be enough to make him come with us, if needed.
So we're just on plan B already. We're not even going with plan A, you're saying. Plan A of non-coercive persuasion,
No.
that's just out the window. We're just going straight to grab him and bag him.
It depends, what will happen when we get to him, if, somebody will come in our way, or we don't know.
Oh, does it? You haven't offered plan A yet. If everything you said is contingent, okay, so, alright, what, just to clarify, maybe I'm mishearing, maybe we're miscommunicating, let's not start that inner team. Let's just get this clear. Your thoughts are what? We're gonna walk in, we're gonna meet him, we'll be like, hey, the big one is with us, the little one's with us, we're all together, we just want you to come with us. No, that's it? That's gonna be the plan?
Well, we could explain things.
Okay. I forgot, did she actually tell us why she wanted him?
Yeah.
To talk with him, I don't think she said anything specifically. Just to talk about something.
Oh my god, this feels like a setup to me. People don't hire other people. This isn't kindergarten. This isn't fucking first grade passing notes, This isn't Susie, would you like to go out with me? Check yes. I think this is the real world. People don't do this. This is
That's why we
being
have
sent
still-
as an intermediary.
That's why we still have the option to say no to
Go.
that request.
Roman Arcana check.
Because to me, it also seems fishy. I think she mentioned there might be some like bodyguards that can like guard him, and we will have to get over them, like over their dead bodies, possibly.
No.
So it means killing like human beings, and I'm not sure if I'm liking that much. But I don't see like how to make him come with us without force.
Well, I mean, we could try enticing him in some way. We could perhaps figure out if we can get him to talk to begin with. If there's not an immediate, like if you, if I'm thinking
Immediate
of, like,
rejection.
bringing in a criminal. You announce yourself to the criminal. We've done this before. They just take off fucking running. If we don't get that type of reaction, we might have a minute to ask him his side to get some sense of what the hell is going on, and then maybe think on our feet. But it feels like we're going into this with kind of a shitty plan, and I'm not real thrilled about that.
Erifror, as a cleric, you know that there are certain ways to give yourself the advantage against types of mages. And one of those is being able to cast silence on them.
Yes, I do. But the problem is, I don't have it prepared.
Right, but you're about to sleep.
That's
No,
right.
we just slept, didn't we?
No.
No, we
No,
are
no,
still.
we're
It's like
We're
the
about
night.
to.
The day disappeared. It was just a blur of ale and good times.
So we need to talk to him, and it's like we are saying, okay, you can cast silence to prevent him
I-
from talking.
Well, it depends on my.
Well, I have calm emotions as well. So
you
that
could-
will make him more willing to talk and be less hostile to us.
could-
But I have to prepare those spells.
I suppose you could just cast silence, and then he walks out of the silence because he's a mage and doesn't want to be silenced. You cast it again on him, and you just keep doing it until you direct him towards town.
Well, silence is a 20-foot radius sphere.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. And there's whole person. I could theoretically cast whole person as well.
Okay. So again, we have the
Yes.
force side down. We got the contingent. We got Plan B in place. We're gonna silence him, lock him up. All right. You have some way to aid us, maybe convince him a little bit. Anything in your little bag of tricks?
I theoretically could command him as well.
Don't know what that means. Will he hate us forever if we do that? Do we care?
It's just like a one-round thing. Like that's not going to really do anything.
Yep, that's all I have, man.
We just knock on front door and talk. And if he don't know one talk, then we punch him face.
Okay, I'm down with this plan. At least it's getting simpler.
I have no better plan than this, so it's like I am with Nyla.
How
So
about
plan A,
I
just like
I have another
knock.
idea.
Very. Okay, go ahead.
Well, we're kind of here. It would be nice to have cash. Why can't we get each of them to pay us? So, if we perhaps did a favor for him, maybe he would do this favor for us, and we could set up a relationship with, mages tend to have wealth. They tend to be fairly powerful as a whole. Magic gets them lots of things. Perhaps we could set him up as another paying employee if we just owe him a favor. We do a favor for him to begin with.
Oh, so like approach him as if we were looking for a job
No,
from
don't
him.
even have to lie to him. Approach him with what we want to do, which is to get him to come talk and say, look, we understand we're asking a favor, but perhaps we could do a favor for you first, and you could then do this for us.
I like it.
Doesn't sound bad. It depends. We don't know what's their relation between these two. It's like,
Sure. So we talk to him, ask about that, ask him the favor. If he gives us too much shit or gets violent, then we have contingency plan B, and this at least feels a little bit more like we're not just going in with swords drawn. Right. Well, I'm fine with that. I can have another beer, relax, and then go for a snooze. Then get up tomorrow and get started.
Sounds good. Except I want a bath first, and then snooze.
I think you're gonna have a bath that fits you.
So we'll manage something.
All
Alright.
right.
Okay, so you guys retire eventually for the night. Let's just total about 5 gold pieces for the room and board. Collectively.
Okay.
None of which Nalla is paying for.
None of which. Am I doing party funds?
Yeah, we have.
Do we have party funds? Let's just.
Yeah, we do. We have 100 gold.
Who is tracking that?
I
I
think Galk. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, generally Galg has been.
If you want, I'm happy. If you don't want to do that, I'm happy to do it. But either way, let's just when we have like party expenditures like this, let's try to keep those out of the party funds.
Wasn't it like only 5, like for all of us?
Yeah.
Or because we just extracted 20.
Is it 5 each or?
Total.
5 total.
5 total.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we'll bring it in tomorrow to talk to our contact here and have her set up just a brief little basic contract. So we have it in writing, so everyone's on board. We'll apologize for the miscommunication for yesterday and suggest that we, or for today rather, and suggest that we're looking forward to a better relationship with her. Yeah.
Sounds complicated, but sure.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go catch a few winks. I'm not feeling great. I'm gonna go for a sleep.
Alright.
I'll
and
also
then-
go to sleep soon.
I will have 2 glasses of ale first. Of cups. Or mugs.
Just Erifror on the sesh the night before important mission. No problem, guys. Alright.
I don't know. I don't know that I.
It's like, I got this.
I don't know that he's talked about his god. Is there like a god of drunks that he is? Is that part of his cleric stuff?
My
Who is
god's
this? Melora, right?
Yeah, Melora.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nature. So
Nature.
everything under the sun.
Passive
Well,
dragon.
ale's made up.
Early falls
Hops are
into nature,
natural.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hops and yeast. It's good. Like, but yeah, eventually you do. Eventually retire for the evening. They'll wake up in the morning. Right as rain. But looking outside, ironically, it is actually fairly cloudy, dark clouds above. Probably going to rain at some point during the day. You kind of there's that smell to the air when you guys wake up. There's a natural emotion of not really wanting to wake up that you all remember from childhood on a day like this. So you guys wake up, you collect your belongings, you strap on your armor, get your gear together, head on downstairs, and eventually, within 15 minutes of each other, you all congregate within the common room in the Stonehill Inn.
Good morning, everyone. Looks like good day to die.
I think you have the
I'm
wrong
I'm not sure
mission,
about the
Nalla.
dying part.
We've signed up for something totally different today.
We'll see. Oh, but if you wanted to know more about this mage that we go capture, we could just ask the lady when we see her.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I would also like to know more, like what is their relation, what she needs him for, and stuff like that.
Well, then if we're all ready, then let's go.
Sounds good.
You could. Well, I mean, I like ale. Maybe he likes something. We could bring it to him.
We
Good
ask him. We ask him when we talk to him too.
All right.
All right.
Let's head over to
I guess we go.
the Miners Guild and Halia Thornton, right?
Okay. So you head back down south towards the Miners Guild, and upon arrival there, Halia is there with one other miner, a tall sort of gangly guy, but he's got fairly well-built arms. And he's just sitting, like, counting a couple of coins and then replacing them and then bringing out a few more and counting them, and sort of seems to be dividing up his cash and putting them in different various pockets.
He's not the same as last time, right?
No, he's a different guy. Different guy. So you guys head over to Halia, who's at the front desk. Initially, she doesn't make any motion of recognition, and then she looks up as you guys obviously approach her. Says, yes, good morning.
Good morning. Me and my friends here, we decide we like to do the mage, bring the mage, yes.
Ah, wonderful. Well, talk the details of what we're going to be doing. Let's just take a step in the back, and then we can talk a little more freely in there.
Excellent.
All right, so she goes and opens the back door. You guys walk through the L-shaped corridor, walk straight to the left, straight again, and there's the door at the end. You guys go in there, and it's pretty much the same scene as yesterday, sans the elven lady who was there previously. She's not there anymore.
So the altar's still all covered in blood?
No, it's cleaned. Still some traces of it on the floor. It's like a stone floor, but it's not been. But the table is clean. It's just like a simple wooden trestle table. Like it's not an altar of any kind. This simply seems like a back room that might have been used for storage sometimes, but it doesn't seem to be storing anything right now. Turned into a decent place to talk, basically. There's no windows in the room, and just a one door. So you guys head in there, and she heads around the other side of the table, and
I
swears you and says, "So,
What's
you
that,
stand?"
I stand a bit further behind so that I can actually see her this time.
Okay, sure. I mean, you're able to move your neck, so you could like look up and stuff, but it's not you're not Batman. Like, but you guys head on in and stand in various places around the room. How do you guys stand around the room?
Up against the table.
Okay.
I would be close to the door, I guess.
I'd probably be fairly close to Nalla, just somewhere where I could still have eye contact with Halia.
All right.
So I be like between Erifror and the others, like not next to Halia, sec. Not
Alright.
eye contact exactly, but I'm at the range that I can listen.
Fair enough. Okay. I mean, the room's not particularly big. It's only about 10 feet across, so I mean, you can stand pretty much anywhere and get a good listening.
It's like a storage closet.
And she turns around and says, "So, you made a decision?"
Yes, we decide we get mage. I think one of my friends wants, like, write paper or something, but I don't know.
What Nalla means is we would maybe like some kind of contract written.
No, I prefer not to keep this in writing. For fairly obvious reasons. I mean, come on. You know the nature of what I'm asking you to do.
I suppose that is there's a consideration that in our talks yesterday we hadn't really thought about that this work you're asking for, at least if he is not cooperative, may not be ideal for having written records of. Nevertheless, what we're trying to avoid, and the point of asking for the contract at all, is we're trying to avoid a repeat of yesterday. We prefer to leave our employers happy with our work, and we don't wish to run into the case where you are wanting something different than you have asked, or we have misunderstood what you have asked for. So is there anything you would like to clarify or restate about this, or anything you could tell us that might aid us in this?
All right. What I wish you to do is, first and foremost, have the mage brought to me. All right. number one most ideal situation is alive and friendly and unaccosted. Alright? If he shows more resistance than you can handle, then bringing him to me unconscious, I suppose, would also be some measure of sufficiency, but obviously less than preferable. Dead is the least preferable scenario. I'm looking to talk to this man. I can talk to him in various ways. I would prefer that I could talk to him on more friendly terms. Talking to him dead is more difficult. Regarding what you find, things generally within the keep, I suppose it would be yours to within the keep, within the basement, I suppose would be yours to have and use at your leisure. However, I would refrain from stealing from the mage himself. For the said reasons of I would prefer him to be of a decent disposition towards me. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think that's fairly clear.
I have a question. What is your relation with him? It's like, are you on friendly matters? Because if you were friendly with him, you would just ask him to, like, if he has time to talk with you, but...
We ask not to pry into your personal details. We ask as a manner for us to approach him. Will he be familiar with your name?
Should we tell him that you are looking for him, you want to talk with him, or it's like, should we be, like, not mention your name?
Well, if you were to mention my name, I doubt he would have an idea of who I was.
So you don't know each other like that?
I've never met him before, no. I know of him, but I don't know specifically who he is. We're not on friendly terms, as you're putting it. If you were to say that there's someone who wants to talk to him, then that might be a way of convincing him to come more peacefully. If you tell him that you're not looking to harm him, might also convince him to come with you peacefully. And she kind of opens one of the robes that she's wearing and brings out a piece of parchment that's rolled up with a ribbon around it, red ribbon. And she says, "This is a spell scroll which may be useful to you," and she points to Erifror, or you, and she points to Eryn. Says, "This is a spell of silence. With this, you'll be able to suppress any surprised emotions he might feel. Generally, when you intrude in someone in their quarters themselves, people can get a bit antsy about that. And generally, mage's first reaction is to go to their spells."
You've heard some things about this mage. What type of magic does he dabble in? What should we be prepared to face if he reacts in anger?
I believe he's a wizard of some kind.
I will
expect arcane magic.
Not divine for that scroll, and I will give it to Erifror.
She acknowledges and says, "So at this point, is everything clear and everything okay?"
Yes. You don't by chance
have
his name?
His name is Glassstaff. I'm not sure more specifically, but that is the name that I have.
Thank you.
Do you have any spare parchment with you?
She goes over to one of the shelves, and there are a couple of like rolled up pieces of parchment, and she just gives them to you. So 3 pieces of parchment.
Okay, I turn to Barros and say, I can't write. Maybe you can write, "We come in peace," or something along those lines. And we can flash it to him, because if I do cast silence, none of us can speak.
How many sheets of paper did she bring over?
3.
Is paper a valuable commodity in this universe?
Like, there's no mass production or anything like that, so like, it depends on what you're using it for. I mean, if you're trying to create a scroll or something like that, you need a very specific kind of scroll paper. But just generally writing on, I mean, it's not super uncommon, but it's not like it's just, there's no newspapers or anything like that, so.
All right, I say that's not a terrible idea, Erifror, if we have to go down that route. Perhaps rather than write something ahead of time, we bring the paper with us so we can react to the situation as it unfolds.
She says to you, when you cast silence, you do not need to be standing in the silence spell. You can just have him in the silence spell. And you can talk outside into the silence spell.
But it depends on how big the space is, I suppose.
But the sound from us wouldn't go into, like, he wouldn't hear it. It would be silent in there.
He would hear it.
Really?
That's not how silence works, as far as I understand. I might be wrong.
Regardless, there still should be methods of communicating him. The idea is just to suppress his surprised emotions.
Yeah.
Right? And even through body language, things as simple as this, you can communicate said emotions that you're coming in peace. Alright. It says, so, with this, she walks over to one of the other shelves, and there's a larger piece of parchment, and she brings it out and brings it over to the table. And she kind of like beckons you over and says, if you please.
Okay.
And she shows you...
Nalla, can you lift me up? I can't see.
Yes, no problem.
Shows you this.
Nalla picks up ice brew like with one hand under each shoulder like a baby.
Like, how tall are you? Go. How tall is Erifror?
I always wondered this about dwarves. You know how, like, you pick up...
Because dwarves are pretty tall because they're still medium creatures. They're not small creatures. They're halflings.
He was 4'0", he said, or 4 foot.
Yeah, 4 feet.
Like, that's still taller than the table is.
I don't know how tall the table is.
Have you ever picked up, like, some animals and, like, you know, their rib cage is, like, wider than a human rib cage, so they're kind of, like, more barrel-chested? Is that how the dwarf is? So maybe you couldn't pick them, but you
pretty
pick
much.
them up, like, grabbing them from... Okay.
Yeah.
Now we know. Never manhandle a dwarf. That's how to do it. You don't pick them up by, like, the scruff of their neck or something with dwarves.
Yes, Nalla's not picking him up by his, like, the back of his head or something.
All right. So we're looking at the hideout layout. Is there anything you wanted to point out in particular, Sully?
She points to the room, not to the most northwest room, but the one which is to the east of that.
Okay.
And she says, this room here, this is Glassstaff's personal quarters. This is where he resides. And while normally that would be quite a simple accusation, what people don't normally know, when I managed to acquire this, I found out that there's actually a secret entrance and exit from this room. She points to the small corridor-like structure, which is slightly to the east of that. And she says, if you're wanting to take him without him running, I suggest flanking him of sorts, going from both entrances, in order to catch him unawares.
Sounds very peaceful.
Well, when you open the doors, then you can do as you please to get him to be peaceful. But until that time, then.
Okay, so just to be clear, not the very far northwest one, but the one just to the east of that.
Yep.
Okay.
She points to the room to the northwest, and she says, I believe, if I recall correctly, this is being used as a laboratory of some kind.
Okay.
Interesting. May I ask, what is that passage to the south? It's like there is like some way out of the map. It's like, do you know what is that?
That is an exit from the basement, which leads to the woods. However, I would be careful with that specific direction, because there may be traps along the way. So if you're wanting to exit or enter through that passage, be careful with that choice.
Are there guards? Does he have personal guards or anything that we should be wary of?
There were last time that I was informed of this. This room here, she points to the middle room, the westernmost sort of middle room, like south of the laboratory. Yep. Says this seems to be a barracks for the men, and this one, the southwest room, this appears to be some kind of I believe it was bugbears which were here before. They don't tend to mix too well with the men, so they have their own room here, used as a barracks of some kind.
These men, these bugbears, these have nothing to do with the wizard, yes?
They protect him.
Oh, bodyguards, I see.
Or if you're able to be sneaky enough, they need never know you were there.
And just to be clear, if something happens to bodyguards, is this okay, yes?
It should be fine. I mean,
sounds good.
I'm not sure of the particular relationship between Glassstaff and these bugbears and these humans. I can't imagine that he is particularly friendly or that he would be particularly heartbroken if they were to come to harm. But who knows? Maybe it's even a method of intimidation. But I'll stress again that that's not the ideal route to go down.
You mentioned barracks. Barracks for whom?
The men.
The wizard's bodyguards.
He tends to keep a retinue of men on him. I believe around town they're called town has taken to calling them the Red Brands. They have their own sets of problems. But you don't need to worry too much about them.
And this map, we take this map, or?
She kind of thinks for a second. Says, "You can take the map."
Excellent.
Okay.
So,
a couple of things to be careful of. She points to the northwest, the northeast room, which is kind of like shaped like an L. Says this room here is a crypt of sorts. Various undead creatures roam here. Actually seem to be some kind of protection for the manor. But from what I heard, the Red Brands, and I have no idea how this happened, the Red Brands seem to be at some kind of seem to have some kind of agreement with the undead.
Is this mage a necromancer? I don't know of any non-magical means to make agreements with undead.
I don't either. So perhaps he is a necromancer, perhaps not. But this small room here, she points to the one which is like inside the L-shaped room. This small room here, this is the armory. Maybe worth your time raiding that if you're particularly interested in upgrades of some kind, but you do run the risk of inciting the ire of the undead. Perhaps going back for that later after getting Glassstaff. I think... Oh, and also in this cavern here, and she points to the main room, there's a creature which also has an agreement with Glassstaff. He promises it fresh food and it protects the cavern. So it's not natural, however. So I would not have any qualms with you dealing with that if it comes to that.
Well, this is with these explanations, this makes a lot more sense why you would need someone with our skill set. I appreciate you giving us this information ahead of time. It will make our job significantly easier, and we'll have a much higher chance of actually getting you what you want.
I'd hope so.
Anyone else?
So, I provided you with some tools to do the job. There's this map, and you have the information of whereabouts. If I were to give you a suggestion, feel free to go against this at your best judgment. Circumstances may change, of course. But from what I've learned, the main entrance is actually less guarded than the postern entrance, which is often people see as being the safer route into the cavern. So, however, I would suggest the main entrance. Go in through the room with the scar. Head directly there. Deal with the aberration in any manner you see. And then head directly north and head towards the laboratory and the secret entrance. And then time it to enter somehow at the same time. You may have means to be able to do this in order to flank glass staff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for your suggestions.
Again, take them under advisement. You're free to do as you will, as long as what I'm asking for is fulfilled.
Excellent. Nalla, Erifror, Eryn, we ready? Anything else?
Yes.
Always.
Excellent.
Do you have an ink bottle? Because we don't have a quill either.
I'm afraid I don't have an ink bottle on me, no.
Right. So parchment's useless, I suppose.
Well, we can go buy an ink bottle if you're real thrilled about it. We'll take the parchment. We'll thank you for that. We'll walk out. Erifror can babbling on about ink bottles as we're leaving. And as we walk out, we can say, Erifror, there's probably someone in town who can sell you a pen and an ink bottle if you think that's going to be useful. But if I understood this correctly, we are abducting a mage who is surrounded by bodyguards that are undead, bugbear, human, and magical construct.
We're outside of the house, right?
Who we should be.
Well,
who we need to flank to make sure he can't run. My suspicion is communicating peacefully with him may not be something we're able to do immediately anyways.
I think kill everything.
Yeah.
I like the
well,
idea.
I mean, I've encountered a few bugbears attacking the caravans I've guarded, and they're fucking nasty creatures. I don't really relish the idea of sneaking past a couple while they're behind us, and then we encounter a mage surrounded by undead. I think clearing this systematically might be something to do. We need to be careful if we're going to do this with our volume as we do it. We don't want to spook him too early. But I mean, if this map is accurate, there's a finite number of exits. I mean, he's a mage, but perhaps we can counter that when we get to it.
Well, if he is in silence, he can't cast spells, and so long as we block the exits, he can't exit the room.
Assuming he can't just open a portal to another dimension and leave.
He can't he can't cast any verbal spells.
I understand if you're within 20 foot of him and he stands in your cone of silence. But for example, if we are off killing undead or off killing bugbears and he hears it, that may spook him to leave. We should be aware of that going into it.
Yes, I think kill everything very quietly.
I think that is what I'm getting at too.
Wait, you can?
Yes, just, still kill everything, just shout a little less.
What about, kill everything and don't say a word?
This is good.
Alright. Do we wish to do this in daylight or at night?
It's underground, no? So I don't think it makes a lot of difference.
Underground doesn't matter. It means when we are approaching, if somebody sees us, all guards around, maybe. So it might be better go at night.
Oh, okay.
Because they may be like if we enter, they can call reinforcements and get behind us maybe if somebody's watching it.
Okay, so spend all day looking for ink and then go at night.
Right? We could go like day, but it's just what I propose to do.
Yes,
that's just one thought.
If you agree with that.
I don't know a whole lot about the undead, perhaps. I haven't encountered them too much. But does light give us any sort of advantage with them? I understand this is underground. We may not have that option, but we may have the ability to either retreat or open holes in the walls or something to let light in. Is that something that might be beneficial to us?
I don't have experience with undead, so I cannot answer that.
Well, you take the axe and you cut it a lot of times.
I can turn the undead as in they will try to run away from us, but I can't destroy all of them instantaneously.
That's a good thought, by the way. Like, as just a general rule.
Thanks. The armory sounds quite interesting to me as well. I mean, it would be nice to come out of this with something to show besides a little bit of cash. So we're assuming, I think, Nalla, you and I are on roughly the same page then, and it sounds like you as well, Eryn and Erifror, to some degree of killing is going to be necessary here. If at the very least, bugbears and undead.
I'm fine with this.
I think just decide if we go now or at night. I think either one is okay.
My choice for now. Better chance of picking up on any hidden watchers. We can take a little bit of time. You know, this is morning, right? We could go have a little scout around the area, look for any hidden watchers, look for any telltales, and then head in. And we still have potentially sunlight to retreat to. Anyone else have a different thought?
Also okay.
Okay.
At least in my book.
Alright, do we want to prepare in any way? We picked up healing potions recently before our last trip. Anyone else need anything else? I mean, I don't think our funds are particularly great right now. Party funds are fairly low. I don't know about your individual funds. Mine are fairly low.
Yeah, I want to do.
We do need ink. I think we need it.
Alright. Well, let's perhaps stow our stuff that we're not bringing in the inn and get the rest of our gear together and head up that way for some scouting. Perhaps we can take a little bit of time for Erifror to run down some ink. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the Costa, I suppose, to look for ink.
Yep. So you guys head over to the coaster. Or you specifically Erifror head to the coaster. Hang on one second.
Nalla's going to go with Ice Pro.
Resources.
Alright, now let's RP buying ink for the next 40 minutes.
I want you to bargain for it, Galg.
Okay, yeah. So you see a human woman. She's around between 30 and 35 years old, early to mid 30s, with dark brown hair. And she welcomes you when you come into the coasters. Hello. Yes. How can I help you?
I'm looking for a ink bottle and a quill. Do you sell those things here?
Yes, we do. What kind of ink is it you're looking for? Just normal ink, or is it the more magical kind you're looking for?
About as normal as you can get, I guess.
Very well. We have quills here for quills are fairly cheap. One ink pen is just 2 copper pieces. However, ink tends to be a little bit more expensive. It's for a 1 ounce bottle. It's 10 gold pieces.
Oh, wow. I didn't know people who read and write have to spend so much gold. I turn to Nalla and say, how many ales are those?
I don't know.
It's like 20 ales.
Get it or done. It's up to you. Let's go though.
I think about all the ale that I'm gonna miss. And I reluctantly take out the 10 gold and the 2 copper pieces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you have ink. Let's go.
Let's go.
Good doing business with you.
Okay.
All right. So meet up, and then over at the inn, I guess, where you're restoring some of your gear that you're not going to be taking with you. Yeah.
How do you feel about this for a place to cut the part? I think this is a good kind of hour-long segment.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. We'll be back for you guys in just a moment, and we'll see you soon.